Welcome to Drive 615. Let's go for a drive. My name is Byron, and this is the all-new 2024 Nissan Z Nismo. I've had this for the past week as a press loan. I've been testing it out in the real world, and as always in the Drive 615 reviews, we'll take a look at the exterior, the interior, and of course we'll go out and take it for a drive. The total MSRP as tested on this pre-production vehicle is $66,985, and the exterior color is black diamond pearl. Before we take a closer look, let me tell you a little bit about Nismo. It started back in 1984. It's a division of Nissan that basically takes an already great Nissan vehicle and ramps it up. This is essentially the whipped cream and cherry on top of the ice cream sundae. It makes it incredible from a driving perspective, a looks perspective, comfort, all that combined. And the cool thing about Nismo is not considered a Nismo vehicle until the chief driving engineers test it and give it their seal of approval. So at first blush, you might look at this Z and say, it doesn't look that much different than the rest of them. Yeah, to the average person, you're probably right. They're not gonna notice the differences between a regular Z Performance and a Nismo. But to the trained eye, and after watching this video, you'll have a good idea as to why. We do still have the same Y design, hood bulge up front, the iconic headlamps. Where the magic is gonna happen is down through here. We got a wider front grille than on the Z Performance. We've got thinner honeycomb design down through here to allow more airflow in the front of the vehicle. And as we follow this red trimmed A-wing apron down through here, you'll see on the sides we got some canards. They call those vortex wing generators, but basically it's just these canards that help push airflow through and around the front wheels and also increase downforce in the process. So I think the front of this vehicle looks really aggressive when you add those on. They took a lot of the aerodynamics and the engineering of this vehicle and modeled it after the Nissan Z GT500 race car, and you'll see that especially when we get to the profile. But I think just those minor touches give it better performance and also give it a little unique change. So when you see a regular Z, you'll notice the difference right away. Here at the profile, you can tell just how race ready this Nismo Z is. Even when it's sitting still, it looks like it's ready to hit the track and put in some lap times. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the changes over the other Z, as we'll call it. If you look down through here, we got reshaped side seals. Also got this nice red accent trim through here, as well as on the side mirror. I think that sets the black off nicely. If this was just all black, it might not pop as much, but that red trim really ties it in nicely with the front brake calipers. Those are painted in red. If we take a look at the wheels, we've got a bigger disc in the front, 15-inch versus 14-inch on the Performance. If we look at these wheels, they are the Nismo Raise forged wheels. The Z Performance just gets the Raise forged wheels. These get the Nismo upgrade. Let me tell you what that gets you. You do get this nice etching on the wheel. It says Nismo, and it's actually machined in to the wheel. It's not just a sticker or a tack on, that's on all four wheels. These are wider, half-inch wider in the front, half-inch wider in the rear. We are sitting on 285s in the rear now versus 275 on the Performance. So I think my eyes are most drawn to the wheels when I look at this car. It looks like it's just perfectly stanced. It almost looks like it's got kind of an aftermarket fit where it's lowered and got spacers. I mean, it looks just really, really good. Typically, I kind of complain about the stock look of wheels, and I don't like how either inset they are or how they don't fill up the wheel gap enough. This looks fantastic. With these 285s in the rear, it almost looks like it's got a little bit of camber kind of stuffed in there, which looks fantastic. And of course, it's gonna give you some nice aerodynamics, downforce when you're out on the track, but it looks really good just in person. So I love that. We still have the Katana sword through here. Something about this one looks a little bit different though. I think it might be the color of it. It actually looks like a sword, which is kind of cool. It's the first time I've really looked at it and said, yeah, this really does look like a sword. In the past, you know, it kind of does have that general shape, but given the color of this and just how it's kind of cold to the touch, I'm like, this looks like a real sword. As always, I complained about this so much. It's so small. Oh, not small, it's a small thing to complain about, but it's a big thing on the car. That's gonna be this fuel fill up here. This is the biggest cap back here. I don't know why it had to be so big. If that's the worst thing about the car, then you're doing pretty well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear. We've still got the same iconic rear tail lamps modeled after the 300Z. We've got a high downforce rear spoiler. designed to increase downforce and reduce drag. I love the red trim continued back through here, kind of mirrors what's up on the front of the vehicle. We've got the Nismo badge right through here. It's in a kind of a unique spot. Typically, when manufacturers put badges on the back of a car, that's either off to the right or off to the left. I don't know if I've ever seen one on the rear bumper right above the license plate. So I think that's kind of a unique touch. And again, a nice reminder to let people know that you are in the Nismo edition. If they don't see it here, they'll see it in the front or on the wheels. I've always liked this little touch through here. Kind of reminds me of an F1 rain light. Now we do have the dual exhaust, one on each side. Let's go ahead and take a listen to it. I think it sounds best when it's under load, when we're driving it or when we're launching it. When it's just sitting here revving, it might not sound that loud, but let's go ahead and let you make your own opinion on that, and I'll start her up. All right, so comment down below, what are your thoughts? How do you think the new Nissan Z Nismo sounds? Before we take a look at the interior, let's go ahead and pop up this rear trunk here. It's got a bit of room in the back. It's connected directly to the front, so there is nothing dividing it up. You got that cross member bar through there to help increase rigidity. You get some space behind the rear seats. It is a nice amount of trunk space, but these little side parts right through here do cut down on that a little bit. I will say there is no way to automatically close this rear trunk. There is no handle either, so you can either use this a little bit through here, or if you want, you can put your hand on the high downforce rear spoiler. Just don't leave any fingerprints on this black car. I love the look at it. The more I look at this and just how nice and shiny and clean and aerodynamic, it's just a sexy looking car from pretty much every angle. This might be my favorite angle though. It just looks incredible. It looks like it's just, ready to rock, ready to race, like I said earlier. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the interior, then we'll go out and take it for a drive. Let's go ahead and look at some of the interior features, and I'll show you what's a little bit different than that of the regular Z. As you saw, we had the Nismo on the floor mats. We do get the Recaro fixed headrest, manually adjustable seats. I like all the different layers we have going on here. We got the leather, got the suede Alcantara through here, red leather on the interior with these little accents, this hard part back through here for the Recaro seat, Nismo embroidered up on the headrest. Do always love that. Red stitching through here, down through here, and then kind of the undertone on the back side of this is red as well. So just the seats alone are a really nice feature. We come through here, we'll look at the steering wheel. Got the 12 o'clock red leather center marker. This is a two-tone leather and Alcantara. Now it is a little interesting. I put my hands here and I get most Alcantara on my hand, but I get a little bit of leather. So if you're someone who's like weird about mixed textures, I know it's kind of a weird thing, but yeah, when you put your hands at the typical, 10 and 12, you do kind of touch both. So that's just something worth noting. As far as visibility, let me show you one thing real fast here. So if I look over my left shoulder, unless I go all the way back, I don't see that little window. Now when you're driving, you can definitely look over your shoulder and kind of lean back, but I wouldn't say it has a blind spot, but it definitely is not the easiest thing to look at, especially if you're up further. Is that a reason not to buy a Z or a Nismo Z? No, but just something worth noting. You got the paddle shifters mounted to the steering wheel. Let's go ahead and start it up. Before I do, take note of this. You got the red anodized start and stop button, as well as the D mode. We'll go ahead and start it up there, and you get the little Z Nismo graphic that pops up. Now you do have Nismo on the back of the display here, right in the center. I am low on fuel because I've been driving this thing a ton and I've been having a lot of fun with it. As far as that goes, I mean, there's not a whole lot different on the interior. Those are some of the more kind of quiet touches. It's not blaring in your face. I still would like to have Nissan or Nismo right through here, but beggars can't be choosers. But I think that'd be a nice spot, but maybe that would make it kind of too loud. So if nothing else, you got the Nismo there, and you got the Nismo there, as well as the outside touches, and then what's on the floor mat. Quickly, I'll show you this. This is where you can put your phone for charging. This is a touch screen through here. I didn't really mess a whole lot with that at all, actually. And then you got your storage through here. If you slide this back, you got your second cup holder there. You got storage behind here, and this can pop down, and you can put some stuff in there. It's not the most graceful on the snap out, but that's kind of where you can keep like the owner's manual or some other miscellaneous items, and that's basically it. Oh yeah, one more thing. The Recaro seat. So I'm 6'5". I got decently, you know, normal sized hips. The side bolsters do kind of push in a little bit on my legs. Again, there you can see that's where they come in on either side. So unless I sit like this, you know, I do feel that on the outer part of my legs, and at times, you know, because they're a little bit stiff, I can feel it on my, you know, back part of my leg. So just something worth noting before you get it. Maybe sit in it, try it out, see how the seats feel for you. Behind the wheel and on the road in the Nismo, what are we working with underneath the hood? That is a twin turbo V6 producing 420 horsepower and 384 pound-foot of torque. That is 20 horsepower more than the Z Performance, but that's not all the upgrades you get with the Nismo. Let's go ahead and talk about some of those now. You get that 20 horsepower increase from a new independent spark controller borrowed from the GTR, which helps control the ignition, an overboost function that spins the turbo impellers to 5,000 RPM higher, and a secondary charge cooler. That was a lot of words, but basically you get some more power in an effective and an efficient way, all tuned by Nismo. Now we are driving right now in standard. It's comfortable. You hear a little bit of the exhaust note, but on Drive 615, we like to bump it up a little bit. So now I'm in Sport, but we're gonna go and pop it into Sport Plus and experience that 420 horsepower right now. Shoot, that's quick. Wow. Hold up. It did I didn't touch the paddle shifters. You do get the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, but I did hit the brake, and it did that automatic downshift for me with some burbles. I'm gonna, you know, kind of be quiet here. What? Oh my goodness. That is impressive. That is very impressive. You don't think 20 horsepower would make that much difference, but the butt dyno says otherwise. And it's definitely a more visceral experience. I think I complained a lot. I broke loose there. I broke loose there at 45. Oh my goodness. I complained on the previous Z Performance that like the exhaust isn't that, it's just, there's nothing to write home about, right? It's nothing crazy, but this one definitely takes it up a level. On the brakes hard, on the brakes hard. Oh man. It's definitely more rowdy, but it's rowdy in like a refined way, in that it's not annoying to drive and you don't feel like you're kind of annoying everyone around you with crazy downshifts or down pops or anything like that. It's just, it puts a smile on your face. Obviously, I'm like, I can't stop flooring it. And it really feels like it hunkers down a lot more in the back. I always tend to use that phrase in my videos when you feel like the car's kind of squatting. This one especially feels like I'm popping a dang wheelie off the line. So right now I'm in fourth. I'm in third, going about 40. I'm gonna pop it into second and we'll hit a pull here at 40. Let's go. Oh. Third, second. Now when you're doing manual downshifts, I haven't quite figured out in driving this how to get the perfect pops all along the way, but utilizing the paddle shifters, you can definitely get some more excitement out of it. But as far as those down burbles, it seems like it's when I'm accelerating and then I get on the brake, it tends to do that. They're not as apparent on the interior. You can tell they're going on, but I'm sure the people behind me can hear them. But again, not in an annoying way where it's like just pop, 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 pop. It's just kind of a nice little genuine downshift and genuine rumble, because the car kind of really needs to do that. The shifts are lightning fast on this Nismo, faster than that of the Z Performance, thanks in part to upgraded clutches, as well as upgrades to the software controlling that. So it's gonna be 27% faster on the upshifts and 50% faster on the downshifts. I've noticed that when doing the paddle shifts, as well as driving in just regular drive mode. Alternatively, if you want to pop it into manual mode there, you pop back on this gear selector here, and that'll put you in true manual mode, where it won't kind of default out if you don't do the paddle shifts for, you know, 30 seconds or so. It'll stay in manual mode. So that's how we're going to drive it right now. Then we'll hit a launch. But I've been having a lot of fun driving this car. I will say, again, if you're an attention seeker, you might not get as much attention because people don't necessarily know what this is. True car people will know that you're rocking the Nismo. They'll give you props. You'll know that you got the cream of the crop, the best variant of the Z. You can be in the Nismo family. But again, for your average person just on the road looking at it, they might not even notice it. They might not have even noticed that you were in a Z to begin with. But that's all right. That's not why you're buying this car likely. You're buying it, holy crap, because you want that power, you want the aerodynamics, you want the just sexy look of this vehicle, and you want to be able to do pulls like that just on your morning commute to work. And then you also want to hit the track and be able to put some solid lap times down and just do some solid handling and performance. So I am absolutely loving this. I am really enjoying driving in true manual mode. I found like that's the best way to drive this thing. The shift lights let you know when to shift, so you can't really screw that up. You can get hard on the brakes whenever you need to. Those 15-inch discs are coming in handy for sure. And then the rigid calipers are helping out as well. So you get some more power. But it's also important when you upgrade the power, you got to upgrade other stuff. You can't just tack on some more horsepower and off you go. You got to kind of bring everything up with it as well, and that's exactly what they did with this Nismo. I will say, if you're driving in manual mode at lower gears and lower speeds, it is just a little bit jerky. I feel like this is best when you're getting on the interstate, as I am now, and you really want to kind of power through the gears. That's when I've noticed it's best, but just kind of putting around town, maybe not the best time for manual mode. But let's go ahead and do another good pull here. Wow, I mean, it really opens up and just becomes so much more throaty and so much more aggressive when it's under load. Again, that exhaust does not do it justice when it's just sitting still. At idle, it just doesn't really do it. But when you're really opening her up and getting on it, that's when she shines. I'm gonna do a launch off the line here for you. Get ready. I'm into Sport Plus regular drive. Whoa, it broke loose at 40. That is awesome. I mean, I was in second gear by then, I think. So that is so cool. I'm gonna go through some corners here. Let's see how she handles on that. Dude, this is just like, this car will get you in trouble. This car is like, it's like a little go-kart out on the regular road. You want to drive fast in it, and you can't help but doing it. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I certainly enjoyed driving this for the past week. And yeah, I strongly recommend, if you're looking to get a Z, just go ahead and upgrade to the Nismo variant. I don't see any reason not to.